Some of us go through a Kundalini awakening in a very short, sharp burst, almost like a firework awakening, a firecracker awakening like mine. But others of us, and this is my feeling, most of us, most people that I come across, go through a much slower journey as the Kundalini is awakening in you, almost progressive, almost like we're not noticing, but you are noticing because you're changing. What I want to go into today are some bad habits. This is an extremely exciting one for me because this is my opportunity to, again, humble myself and show you where I was slipping up on the journey, but also where you might be too. I am not only your friend on the journey, but I'm here to call out your BS, and some of it might be involved in this, so, because mine was. So, if you're interested, then by all means, watch this video. So, after a Kundalini awakening, or as the Kundalini is awakening through you because you're doing your spiritual practice, your what we call in the yogic field sadhana, you're doing your meditation, you're doing your pranayams, you're doing your yoga daily, and progressively you're changing inside. Your life's changing, and also the old wounds of the past are changing. Some of them are very stubborn. And we know this. It's almost like we have to dive really deep to massage those deep wounds, those internal traumas that we've had through our childhood, that's been passed down through the generational lines to us, from our parents, from their parents to their parents. It's almost like sometimes we always tell ourselves we're going to be totally different to our parents. So we are totally different to our parents, but we still express the wound that's passed down to us in a different way. And I know this in my life, and you'll know this in your life. It's that unworthiness wound that's perhaps expressed, or this I'm not good enough wound that's expressed in through, depends on your family line, depends on your generation, depends on your template, your DNA template, shall we say. For me, it came out in controlling. For some people it comes out in anger, which is, I suppose, again, control. And they're all linked. Sometimes it comes out in manipulation. Sometimes it comes out in self-loathing. And these wounds are the source of what I would call very bad habits. Now, I say very bad habits. I use that term lightly. They're not very bad habits. They're not going to kill you, although if you keep doing them, we know that this is a consequential universe. Like every action, who is it? Newton or Einstein says this: every action has an equal and opposite consequence or reaction. And sometimes we have delayed reaction times for these things. For example, if we abuse alcohol in our lives, we might, if we continue to do it, find that we're damaging the frontal cortex of the brain, and that we end up with, I don't know, some degenerative disease down the line. I'm not wishing this upon anyone. What I'm just saying is that we harbour these bad habits, and as we go through a Kundalini awakening, or as we do the sadhana, these bad habits become very heightened, because it's not just, we're now not just seeing the bad habit for what it is. For example, let me give you my bad habits: alcohol, smoking, marijuana, although it can be used as a teacher, because it is a teacher, natural teacher, the marijuana. If you use it in excess, you become very mentally incapable. Hi. And it creates crazy weirdos on the internet. But I mean, this is my past. I haven't smoked that stuff in ages because it messes with me and makes me very paranoid. And if you're going through the same, then realise that you've got an unhealthy relationship with it, and that this is formulated in this bad habit umbrella that I'm creating for us now. Other bad habits may be obsessive thoughts, compulsive thoughts, that then lead us to what I would say is OCD or or make us scared to leave the house because we constantly think there's threats, even when there's not. Other bad habits, like believing yourself to not be worthy, to not be good enough, that unworthiness wound that seems to encompass all of this. We're not only becoming control, manipulation, we're not only lying, we're not only becoming aware of these, but we're becoming aware of what it is that's creating them. The conscious thought process and feeling process that we witness that then takes us off into doing, as a physical action, those bad habits. We're becoming very conscious of that because we're becoming very conscious, not externally, but very conscious internally. For the first time we're looking inwards, aren't we? The Kundalini forces us to do this because it's like a doorway. It opens up this blissful energy field inside. And we cover that blissful energy field, and if you're not, you'll notice this as you go through your journey, with these bad habits. You'll notice when your state changes, your energy drops, your heart sinks, it's because you've done something with your mind. And those things are usually these bad habits. You've told yourself, I'm not good enough, or you've implied I'm not good enough with the way that you're thinking towards yourself. And this then enrages, so to say, this pain body inside of us. I say pain body just because it's easy. You know, that emotional pain, that emotional pang that's perhaps given to you in your childhood, that you perhaps adopt in your childhood because maybe you feel that you're not free to express yourself in your family. Maybe your family judges a part of you and you can't express the way that you really want to express, or perhaps your sexuality is questioned with your family or with your friends and you don't feel confident enough to be able to express that and say, oh, inside yourself, oh, well, we might have a bit of a problem here. These sort of things will begin to, and this is why drama is so good for people that are spiritually inclined and creative people, because it allows us to then express in a way that's freely, even if we're doing it through the vehicle of another player, and us being the actor for the role, for the character. Anyway, I've gone off topic. And this is why art's so good as well, because we get to then express the creative, colourful one inside that we've perhaps repressed, and it's this repression that creates this pain body. Now, this pain body, we're healing, of course. This is what's happening through the Kundalini journey, through your awakening process. We're healing this, but as we go through it, these bad habits come up. Lots of hand movements there. It's one of my bad habits. But these dark habits, the ones that, the reasons why we try to fill the hole inside with addictions, and the reasons why we try to fill the hole inside by socializing, rather than being with that hole inside, so to speak. Of course, these words are just very limited ways of explaining, but I'm hoping this is resonating with you on some level. And if it's not, then I'm the only one in the world, and fair enough, I'll take it. But I don't feel that I am, because I see it everywhere, especially with the clients that I work with. These bad habits are going to play out in your life. If you've gone through a Kundalini awakening in one instant, like I did, or if you've gone through a Kundalini awakening that's more progressive, you're just on the awakening journey, you know that you're waking up because you're watching lots of videos on YouTube, you're beginning to start a daily spiritual practice. These tendencies will come up and will be highlighted, and they'll come up for you thick and fast, so that we get to address the wound below it, that unworthiness wound. Now, I'm not here to be an enabler and say, go and play out your addictions, because I'm not going to be responsible for that. You have to take responsibility for your own life. But I know that in my journey, I let addiction to things, addiction to certain thought patterns, go on for longer than they should have done, and they begin to start destroying your body and your mind, so to speak. They start destroying your relationships, and that's the most difficult thing. They start impacting on your family, these bad habits. And it's when these things happen, it's life saying, okay, you're at this point now where you know these bad habits aren't serving you, they're not serving your body, your mind, your soul, your family, your friends, are you going to continue? Because if you are going to continue, I'm going to hammer you for it. Life is really kind. Life's probably been letting you know with a little butterfly kiss saying, you should probably change this, you should probably change this. And we don't, we're like, yeah, I'm going to eat all of that McDonald's or whatever. And life's still there saying, you should probably change this, or you should probably have a look at why this is so we can heal the wound and change it that way. And of course, if you want to do that, you're more than welcome to have some one-on-one coaching. You can sign up down below, see if we're a good fit for each other. These wounds or these addictive bad habits are going to keep coming up until we take responsibility for them in our lives. They won't change until we want them to. That can be hard to hear. Oh, Jamie, I do want them to change. And I get it, because I got away with saying that to myself constantly. Oh, I do want it to change, and then nothing ever changed. Why? Because you don't really want to change. I never really wanted to change. I was always quite happy with my addictions because they brought happiness in that moment. But they also brought misery in another moment. Remember, every action has a consequence. So I knew that the thing itself that I was engaging in, that addictive tendency, was not the thing that was creating the happiness, because in another moment it would create insecurity or unhappiness in me. The happiness is created within, right? And if you'd like to join us down below, there's a free guided meditation that will help awaken some of that happiness within. Remember, we're in control of it. External situations are not in control of our happiness, and if they are in you, you're more than welcome to try the sadhana down below that I used. It really begins changing your consciousness. They're yogic breathing practices that help you awaken bliss within, so that we're not then conditional upon external circumstances for that bliss to be there in us. These bad habits are going to keep playing out until we accept responsibility for them and really want to change them. A habit comes up, and if we fight against it, we don't really want it to change, because we know the way to make it change is to feel it. Well, at least that's my way. To feel it and let it drop away. But if we keep picking it back up in our minds, in our thought process, then we don't want to change, do we? We're basically saying to life, come on, give me more of it. Keep pestering me until I have to give in. We have to want to change for the change to happen, especially with these bad habits. And life will be generous and life will be kind, and we'll take a step back and we'll just let you play this out for as long as you want. But when you're really ready and you know there's an inner yes to the journey that comes up, probably through the dark night of the soul, because you're fed up of the pain and you're fed up of the destruction of your life externally, there'll be an inner yes that comes, and you'll be ready to change. You'll want to change because you know that the way you're living your life right now isn't working for you, for others. And when that inner want to change, that real want to change comes, then you're a blessed person then. Because life will work with you, will aid you, will bring you people into your life to help you change in the positive ways that you want. Anything you want in your heart good, you can have, right? But we have to want to change in order to see that good come to fruition. I hope this makes sense. I don't know by this point. This was fun to make anyway. Of course, down below, if you're going through an awakening process and you're lonely, scared, don't know what's going on, and you don't really have anybody to talk to that will understand, you're more than welcome to join our free community down below. It's got over 220 odd members in it. It's free. I'll never charge you for it, and that's my promise to you. That will do. Bear in mind, these bad habits are coming up to be healed. We can keep playing on the surface with them, and that's fine, there's nothing wrong with it. Until we want to change our lives, because it will drain your energy, drain your money, drain your life force, drain your mental stability. As we keep blaming our bad habits, or blaming the Kundalini, or blaming the dark night of the soul for the reasons why our life is being destroyed, when really we're just not taking responsibility. And I only know this from my life. I'm not digging. It's just my truth. Alright, thank you very much for watching. Have a lovely day.